Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Why do I have to do this show in a crap hole? That's all I'm asking. Oh, sorry. Hey, welcome everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I got to tell you, when everything broke on Friday about the old crap hole comment, that's what we're going to say because I can't say the other thing, even though I have to tell you, I am shocked at the number of outlets, media outlets, TV, that are saying the word live on air multiple times. It's not beep hole. It is the word. Don Lemon said it, I don't know what, 50 times. I'm kidding. He said it at least 2-3 times. And of course, he was outraged. I can't believe that the president would be so racist. And you know what's funny? It is so funny to watch how these people go bananas over what most people think in the normal. Yeah. Don't you love how President Trump manhandles the media? By the way, welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show, kjradio.com, 844-551-8255. I am going to get to some of your mail and maybe even some phone calls, whatever, but I got to tell you, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. And here's why. A friend of mine, he's a movie producer. His name is Joel Gilbert. And he made a movie about Trump that's coming out this month. And I think it's called, I can't remember the name. Joel's going to hate me for this. But it's essentially, Art of the Insult. The Art of the Insult. Check it out. I watched this film, and it was it's essentially a compilation of how Donald Trump insulted his way into the presidency. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he took every single person that came at him apart by just giving the facts mixed with a little bit of humor, a little bit of, Marco Rubio's big ears. And it's so funny. When it's put into one single thing, The Art of the Insult, Joel Gilbert, you got to see this film. It is absolutely hysterical. It's funny. And so I watched it. And I'm thinking about everything that's going on right now and how miscalculating the left and the media are when they think that this stuff isn't going to work with Trump, where he's like, oh, shit, you're worthless. I don't even want to talk to you. And he's talking about these, quote, crap hole countries. He leaves the left scrambling. They're like, where's the decorum? I remember in one of the scenes in the film, Trump says, oh, they want me to be more presidential. So he walks out and he's like all presidential, acting like Obama. And he says, what happens? Nothing. They get nothing done. They just want you to be president. Okay, I'm going to be presidential now. And he does it. And it's so mocking, but it is so true. And he said, and so here's what's interesting about it. Now that he said it, he's telling you that they don't do anything, but now he's got a track record. And he can say, look, you want me to act presidential? I'll come out here. I'll go, yeah, well, the State of the Union is and blah, blah, blah. Or do you want me to get stuff done? I cleaned it up. You see it? Because most people want him to get things done. They don't want all the nonsense. Get things done. Period. So this is where Donald Trump finds himself, is right back where he started, where everybody, all the media, the left think, oh, we're gonna say he said the word crap hole about these countries, and then we're gonna do a media frenzy. It starts all over again. He's a racist. And you know what? People out there, black people calling in the shows. I was on Laura Ingraham last week, and she played a clip while I was waiting to come on. A black dude called and said, man, we ain't even worried about that. We want jobs. We want opportunity. If you don't believe, folks, that this is what is filtering down into the masses, you're crazy. And it's going to continue. And we've got a radio project coming up funded by one of my good buddies that we're going to be calling black radio shows and saying, hey, what do you think? What do you think about Trump? Trying to get that kicked off. So I'm just telling you, I'm loving this. The left have no antidote for him. Trump is Superman and kryptonite no longer works. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. Man, made up crap hole stuff. And it's just like this Russian narrative. Let me tell you what's happening right now, people. Pay attention. You're listening to Kevin Jackson here. Not that that's a big deal. But I don't know. I felt like saying it. It makes me feel good. But here's the thing. The left have yet again exposed that they don't know jack. That's their problem. They don't realize how backwards they have. They're like, oh, if we say that Donald Trump thinks of these third world nations as crap holes, that'll get him. And then they say it, and then Trump's like, well, I didn't say it like that, but yeah, they're crap holes. What do you want me to tell you about them? Everywhere you go, El Salvador, I think one of the highest crime rate in the world, murder rate in the world. I mean, I haven't been there, but I've been to many of these crap hole countries, and I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to visit, much less live. I had an office in Mexico City. This has been many years ago, and I think about what you want about Mexico, but you fly into that place and people live in squalor, and it isn't like, there's a really good, I mean, I'm sure there are good areas, but I'm saying you fly over that place and it looks like you think that they're raising farm animals and it's people living in the city. So every time I went there, I stayed in this place called La Zona Rosa, which is like the nicest area. Stayed at Hotel Nico, owned by the Japanese. But you go 2 blocks outside of that, you're going to get kidnapped, you're going to get raped, beaten, robbed, something. You better know exactly where you're going, and you better have armed security. I did not leave the hotel other than my meetings. I did not leave that hotel. And I had people with me that could protect me when I was going to meetings. That's how bad it is. And that's to do normal business. Donald Trump described the world the way the average person sees it, and these people don't get it. Yeah. Those countries, they suck. And what people love about Donald Trump is he speaks the truth about it. He's saying, look, I'm not sending money there. I'm not bringing these people. Why should we bring these people in to our country? They're adding nothing to it. They're coming over here and doing nothing but taking, and you want to make it easier. It's not going to happen on my watch. And good for him. And the thing about it, he's not afraid to confront it. He's not afraid of the politics around it. He's like, you know what? Say what you want. I'm going to keep making this economy good. I'm going to keep making America great again, making it safe. And you see how you deal with that in the elections.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Jackson Radio Show.
Jealousy. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to make the show about jealousy today. And yeah, here's the thing. It's an interesting concept, jealousy. And it's been described as love and hate at the same time, right? And it is. It is truly that. Because in order to be jealous about something, you have to have a passion for it. So let's say you're a really good skater. And you're at the skate park and you're doing your thing. And then some kid comes along and he can do all these other cool things. And you're like, look at that dude, man. So maybe there's a twinge of jealousy. I've never felt that. I'm a martial artist. I'm not a naturally flexible kid. I had to really work to finally get down into the full splits and, Chinese splits. I could do the other one, where you just put your legs in front of each other. That one was pretty easy. But I couldn't do the Chinese splits. I just don't have birthing hips. And so I see these young girls and they're like, complete butterflies all the way down to the ground. They get into the splits and their leg is, I was like, how, what? But I wasn't jealous. I just knew I didn't have birthing hips for obvious reasons. I had a hysterectomy. But I just didn't look at it. And I was funny because maybe it was when I was young and one of my instructors says, hey, he goes, don't use anybody else as your measuring stick. And it stuck in my brain like, don't worry about that guy's technique or that girl's flexibility or whatever, because you have to stay focused on what your body can do. A lot of people think, oh, wow, that's an interesting kick. I'm going to throw that kick. You can't throw that kick. You don't have the ligaments in your knees don't move like that. And there's nothing you can do. There's certain physiological limits. But people would be jealous. Mad. I could tell you stories where people would say, so Kevin, what do you do? I'd be at a tournament, so where are you, blah, 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 because you put your gear away and I'd say, yeah, I'm black belt. Or I'd be at a party, I'm a black belt. And they're like, oh, he's such a braggart. And they would ask because they'd come up and go, hey, I hear you're a martial artist. What are you? What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I? What style? No, what belt? I'm a black belt. Oh, okay, cool. And then 2 days later, I'd hear, yeah, he was all bragging about he was a black belt. I wasn't. But they're petty. Leftists remind me of that, the love and the hate at the same time, because they're passionate about what they think is right, but they're wrong. They're passionate about quite frankly, they're jealous inside of themselves because they know that they're wrong. And Trump drives them crazy. I mean, they go cray-cray over Donald Trump. Why? Because everything they've wanted to accomplish with their ideology, Trump does it. They want a safer world. I'm saying in the purest sense of it all, they want utopia, but they want to think it works with their ideology. It doesn't. So here's Trump making it work. I'm going to give you some numbers today. I'm going to give you the shopping numbers, the holiday shopping numbers here in a bit. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to be, what? What? Kevin Jackson of the Kevin Jackson Radio Show, by the way, kjradio.com, 844-551-8255. It'll blow your mind. These numbers, they're jealous. They're jealous that Donald Trump will speak his mind and it does not destroy him. And in fact, it's exactly what people think. And I mean, look, there should be no cabal trying to destroy Donald Trump. Once you get a look at what he did year one, you should be all on board. Because I'm going to tell you this, is as bad of a taste as it would have left in my mouth, if Barack Obama had Trump stats right now, I would have to just go, look, I don't know how this is working. Maybe I have really underestimated liberalism, leftism, progressivism, but this dude is a rock star. Come on, folks. We just got to admit this. That's what I'd be saying. It would be painful to say, but I'd admit it. And I wouldn't be jealous anymore. I would go, look, if he can continue this is helping everybody. We got to go with him. That's what you would have been hearing. And people might have been going, Kevin, I can't believe it. Look, what do you want me to do? You want me to lie to you? I can lie to you. But we knew what was going to happen with Barack Obama. And that's what, I think that's the part of the problem. The left don't get it. They live in such an opposite world where the disbelief is belief and so on and so forth. they're having trouble understanding how this is working because they believe that their side should be winning. Their stuff should be working. Look, we're the ones who want to take people's money and give it to people. Isn't that the way it works? And Donald Trump's like, no, that's not how it works. We give people their money back because we don't own it. They make it, then they decide where to invest it. And the only thing we can do is we can nudge people in the right directions. We can nudge business by saying, look, we're going to lower the tax base so you can do more. We're going to free you up from legislation so you can do more and you can give back. You can be more philanthropic. And the left hate it. They're jealous. Love and hate at the same time. Happy to get their money back. I got $2,000 back from my company today, but Donald Trump did it. I'm torn. I'm conflicted. I mean, think about I don't know how to describe it except to say, somebody that you hate does something good for you. Has that ever happened where you're like somebody you just can't stand them, but they actually helped you, and you're like, yeah, they helped me. I mean, I still don't like him, but I mean, I can't deny, he helped me move, or change my tire, or, stop me from getting beat up. I don't know, but it's one of those bittersweet. I think that's the way they describe it, right? Bittersweet, because you just don't want to believe that there's any good in them. Well, guess what? Welcome to the real world, leftist. Yeah, let me tell you, they're about to get the smirk slapped off their face, but good, it's already happened. They just haven't felt it because they're dumb. When your brain is as dull as a leftist, you don't feel stuff right away. Oh yeah, they've been pimp slapped. Psst. And they're still back in circa 2016, November 7th, all exuberant. Woohoo! Hillary! Oh, I love it. Jealous, man. Jealousy is a mental cancer. Yeah, B.C. Forbes said that. A mental cancer. When you can't get over, when you can't... See, here's the thing, folks. I'm going to make you feel good, conservatives. When you look at the world, you're not looking at the world through this selfish thing. You're looking at the world going, man, that stock market, it's got to be helping everybody. I hope and pray it's helping everybody. I don't look at the stock market and go, I hope the stock market's only helping conservatives. I hope the stock market's helping everybody. I hope these low unemployment numbers are getting black folks to work, Latinos to work, and I hope they're getting the jobs they want. I hope these companies bringing back, the business and the money back into this economy is helping, spur new businesses, new restaurants, new barber shops, new things, new ideas. That's what fuels America. Not an ounce of jealousy. I see people look, I didn't make a nickel in the stock market in 2017. I'm mad. Like my grandfather said, I'm mad at a mule chewing on bumblebees, but I'm happy that people got over. I'm glad to see that people made out with this new Donald Trump economy, man. Congratulations to you. Send a brother a buck.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I want to take a moment to talk about Haiti, one of the places the President of the United States referred to today as a whole country. I was taught math in high school by a Haitian immigrant named Yves Volel, who worked hard, who dedicated himself to teaching kids in America. He ultimately returned to his country of Haiti and was assassinated while running for president. I spent a lot of time in Haiti. I first went there in the early 1990s as a young reporter. In 2010, my team from CNN was the first international team of journalists on the ground after the earthquake struck. I spent more than a month there and have returned many times on assignment and on vacation. Like all countries, Haiti is a collection of people. It's rich and poor, well-educated and not, good and bad. But I've never met a Haitian who isn't strong. You have to be to survive in a place where the government has often abandoned its people, where opportunities are few, and where Mother Nature has punished the people far more than anyone should ever be punished. But let me be clear tonight. The people of Haiti have been through more. They've been through more. They've withstood more. They fought back against more injustice than our president ever has. Tomorrow marks exactly 8 years since the earthquake struck Haiti. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake killed anywhere between 220,000 and 300,000 people. The actual numbers will never be known because they were buried in unmarked pits. 1.5 million people were displaced. For days and weeks, without help from their own government or police, the people of Haiti dug through rubble with their bare and bloodied hands to save complete strangers, guided only by the cries of the wounded and the dying. I was there when a young girl named B, who'd been trapped in rubble for nearly a day, was rescued by people who had no heavy equipment. They just had their God-given strength and their determination and their courage. I was there when a 5-year-old boy named Monley was rescued after being buried for more than 7 days. Do you know what strength it takes to survive on rainwater buried under concrete? A 5-year-old boy buried for 7 days. Haitians slap your hand hard when they shake it. They look you in the eye. They don't blink. They stand tall, and they have dignity. It's a dignity many in this White House could learn from. It's a dignity the president, with all his money and all his power, could learn from as well. On the anniversary of the earthquake, on this day when this president has said what he has said about Haitians, we hope the people in Haiti who are listening tonight in Port-au-Prince, in Jacmel, in Benet, in Miami, and elsewhere, we hope they know that our thoughts are with them and that our love is with them as well.
I just hope that they know. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, Anderson, he didn't mention Haiti, just FYI. In fact, he didn't even call him a crap hole, which you notice he had to get that word in. But it's funny how these guys wrap this thing in, oh my gosh, I've been there. And it's poor little Mowgli. Little Mowgli, he was there for 5 days. Look, it was a horrible situation. What's it got to do with what did Donald Trump say that was not true about Haiti? What did he say? It is a crap hole made worse by the very people they claim to help. Anderson Cooper goes to Haiti. What does he do? Is he putting his money where his mouth is? Anybody? No. Find out how much money Anderson Cooper has donated to Haiti. Do you know how Anderson Cooper rates what he does in Haiti? By the amount of coverage CNN gives it. And you know how the liberals rate what they do in Haiti? By how much they watch Anderson Cooper talk about the amount of coverage CNN gives to Haiti. But do you think these disingenuous pukes are going to dig in their pockets and donate crazy money to help Haiti? The answer is no. Hillary Clinton and her family collected billions of dollars, plural. And they've built 6 model homes. You got to hear this one Haitian dude. He goes, they've got six homes. They built 6 tract homes, model homes. They built no more homes. They built a water purification facility. It's not a plant. It's like for one village or something. It's not like it's giving Haiti clean water, desalination, water. It's not. And they built like one school. They've been over there just running rampant. Hillary Clinton put her brother in charge. I forget his name, but she put her brother in charge of the Haitian gold mines. And I bet you there's more bling. There's more bling in L.A. from what her brother has done than there is in Haiti. They put Bill Clinton's brother, Roger, I believe, in charge of rice, and he did something with the tariffs and ruined that. First of all, and I've talked about this in the past. I don't have any notes on it. I'm just kind of going from my memory. But here's the thing. Why are you putting a bunch of white folks in charge of these Haitians? In the Clinton family, the Clinton cartel. People in Haiti, they cannot stand the Clintons. They hate the Clintons. And Anderson Cooper, in one of the most amazing journalistic malfeasance I've seen in a while, wants to tie the earthquake in Haiti to what's going on with Donald Trump. That's how, that is as fake news as it gets for me. And he does it so impassioned. The little girl who did this and the little boy that they dug out from under the rubble. They've been through more than Donald Trump could ever go through. Hey, by the way, Anderson, they've been through more than any of the Americans have gone through. Any. Pick them. Pick one. You've been trapped under a boulder or under a fallen piece of concrete for 5 days living off rainwater? I haven't. Little Mowgli is a hero just to survive. He's lucky to survive. I don't know if I could have survived. I probably would have panicked, had a heart attack. Who knows? But don't pretend that you are going through. You think any of these kids that are gangbanging that you overlook? It's funny how the CNN and all these leftist organizations, they fly over. In his case, now he's out of New York. Yeah, he doesn't have to cross over any black people. He can go straight from New York over the ocean to get to Haiti. But these West Coast liberals, they fly over more black people that need help and then go over, fly to Haiti to talk about what people need, or fly to some little country in Africa talking about how they help Mowgli, when they've completely abandoned these young blacks in cities. And let's just be honest. Name me a city that's run by Democrats, or got over a population of, say, 300,000 that isn't a crap hole itself. I can tell you about St. Louis because I know a lot about it. I've talked about it on TV. A city that at one point rivaled Chicago, neck and neck. And I know there were some decisions made on where they were going to put the railroads and all that. But St. Louis has two major river systems, the Missouri River and the Mississippi River. So it had commerce coming up and down the river on barges. That's the cheapest way to bring product. And the rail system, of course, came through here. But anyway, there was a point where they didn't know which one was going to be the major city, and I think St. Louis said, "No, we don't really want the rail," or something. I'll forget the details. And Chicago grew better. But here's the thing: Chicago now has 2.7 million people in the city proper. St. Louis has 318,000. Now, there was a point when they were rivals. Both those cities had roughly 800,000 people at the turn of the 20th century. 800,000 people. St. Louis has lost 500,000 people in that period. Chicago has gained 1.7 million. And go look at the city. Other than the politics of it, it's a beautiful city. So that's where we are. And St. Louis, high crime. Chicago too, high crime. But I did the statistics. St. Louis would have had 1,700, almost 1,800 deaths if it were the same size as Chicago per capita. Dangerous cities. One of the most dangerous cities in the world. And for the record, the most dangerous city in America, St. Louis, Missouri. The second most dangerous city, Baltimore. You want to know who runs it? You know who used to run it? Stephanie Rawlings Blake, the black chick that decided she's going to let Baltimore have a free-for-all. So while Anderson Cooper is lamenting the earthquake, the natural disaster that occurred in Haiti, trying to tie it to Trump in some way because he called the place a crap hole, which he didn't, as I mentioned. But he easily could have. And suddenly, they're all outraged over it. But ask Anderson Cooper, is he worried about people getting shot on the south side of Chicago? The only earthquake happening there is the earthquake of leftism. And it happens every single day. There's a new earthquake. There's a new Mowgli every day in Chicago. Some little kid who's killed in a drive-by, or whose mother is beaten to death by some crazy boyfriend or whatever, and he doesn't have a concern in the world. But he'll tell you how much he spent. I spent time over there, Port-au-Prince, Miami, and he wants to give you the idea. I know what I'm talking about. Let me name a few cities and show you I know what I'm talking about. I told you, that's what leftists do. Hillary Clinton, well, I spent time with General so-and-so, the leader of this. I was over there and I met with Prime Minister this, that, and the other. Hey, let me ask you this. What came of it? Anything in particular? These people are jealous of Donald Trump's ability to say what he means and mean what he says. He's not going to take it back. He doesn't care about your sob stories. Go have your sob story, Anderson Cooper. I don't care. Anyway, there's a saying, jealousy is a fear of comparison. That's what it is. They don't want to admit, if you sit Donald Trump's record side by side with Barack Obama, Mr. Presidential, right? The guy who came off all presidential, what do you get? A big nothing burger on Barack Obama's side.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. The ignorant mind, with its infinite afflictions, passions, and evils, is rooted in three poisons: greed, anger, and delusion. And that's what we have when we deal with the left. We're dealing with ignorant minds. They've got all kinds of afflictions. They explain them to you every single day. They have no self-esteem, or they have too much self-esteem. There's white privilege, man. That's what white people say. Black people go, there's white privilege over there, man. In the same sentence, they tell you exactly who they are. We're too much, we're too little. They don't know who they are. Rooted in evil. They're angry. They want what other people have all the time. It doesn't matter what you give them. And of course, they're delusional. And that brings up all their jealousies. You can't accomplish anything. I'll use my family. I don't have to go outside of family to tell you various issues related to this. I tell you all the time, my cousin, he's a cousin-in-law. He married my cousin. He said to me one time, when I was making money, when I started my first job as an engineer, I was all happy. He says, don't tell the family what you're doing, how good you're doing. This is a dude, name is Johnny. Johnny is a street urchin. He's a guy who's going to take advantage of you if you're on the street. I'm just telling you, that's the kind of guy he was. Why my cousin fell in love with this little dude, I don't know. But she did. He was a street hustler. And I remember meeting him and think, I'll be blunt. He reminded me of my dad. He's just that slick talking little dude, like, hey man, yeah, come on. One time when I went to stay with my cousin in Austin, he says, man, come ride with me. And I went with him, and he had his little collection racket and all these different things, and he was laying life on me. This was before he told me about not telling the family about money, because I was about 15, 16 years old. And I just wanted to go visit family. So my cousin goes, yeah, come stay with us for a few days. So I went there, helped her clean, cook, just being a part of the family. And so Johnny says, hey, man, come ride with me. And I got to see what he did every day, which was nothing but a hustle. He hustled women, he hustled men, he gambled, all kinds of stuff. And what was funny, I don't know what it was about him, because I was ready. I was like, oh, come hustle me, Johnny. I was ready to be hustled. But when I got out of school with my engineering degree, and I was like, oh, man, I was excited. I'd graduated from college. Woo, got my job. I was like, man, this is great. Woo. And so I was telling my family, yeah. And they were like, and my aunt says, well, nephew, what kind of money they paying you? And I was like, oh, I'm making $37,000 a year. This is years ago. That was when that was pretty good money, And Johnny pulled me to he looked at me, and he said, hey, cuz, come here. And he pulled me out in the hallway of my aunt's house, his mother-in-law. And he looked at me and he says, don't ever do that. And I was like, do what? I remember it like it was yesterday. Because I was like, do what? What did I do? He goes, don't ever tell anybody how good you're doing, how much you're making. Not family. Especially family. And I was blown away. What are you talking about? I can't celebrate. And he looked at me and he says, hey, don't do it. And it wasn't like, You can take this advice or leave it. He was telling me, don't do it. This is a street hustler. A guy who's used to hearing people like me go, yeah, this is all great and good. And then he goes, okay, I'll go get mine. And something inside of him said, nah, I'm not going to hustle Kev. I'm going to teach him something. And I took that lesson to heart. People call me up, how you doing? Oh, it could be better. Yeah, ooh, yeah. I mean, I could have won the lottery. I could have won Powerball for $500 million. Oh, shoot, it could be better, man. Shoot. Whew, wish it had been $600 million. Because I'm not telling. And it didn't take a tough lesson, thankfully, because Johnny was smart enough. You know, he recognized something in me and said, I want to make sure this kid does it the right way. Now, with my buddies, I've got money loaned from my friends. I've loaned my friends money. And I'm, not in that position these days. Mostly it's my benefactors, the people who love my work that are starting to step up and do things for us. But I'm just telling you, you got to be careful with what you say to people because they get jealous. It's the ignorant mind. They don't, and it's funny. I used to tell one of my buddies, he came over to my house one time, one of my college friends in a Bentley. And we were 22 years old. He worked in what do they call it? So commercial real estate. He just sold a property and his dad loaned him said you can have the Bentley and until he got his car, which is, I don't know what he was getting, but he was getting something really nice, a Porsche or something. Cause he made like $500,000 in the deal. It was a crazy amount of money. And I was like, wow. But I told him, I said, Sterl, I can only be so happy for the dude that's getting a Ferrari. I was only joking with him because I got to ride, when he finally got his car. I think it was a Porsche. I got to ride and then hang out. But, he drops you off and that's the end. The good news is he let me borrow it from time to time. Yeah, I was that dude, going around, cruising around, see girls like, hey, what's up, y'all? The next time they see me, I was in my little Pinto station wagon. Yeah, this is the maid's car. Oh, man. The delusion. So Donald Trump called these countries crap holes, as you guys know. It's happened last week. The fallout has been amazing. But here's the thing. He's right. And I keep coming back to this because it's so telling how people get so angry. He's racist. That comment was so racist. It was blatantly this or that. And I was thinking to myself, look at the number of countries that are in poverty. And gosh knows, I have been to so many of them. I've seen levels of poverty that I go, the average American who believes that they're poor, I would say to you, jump inside of my head. Let me paint a picture of you of poverty. When you come out, if you still think you're poor, you need somebody to slap your mama because you're delusional. We don't understand poverty in this country. Our poor eat. Our poor are fat. We have the fattest poor people in the world. I find that really funny. The fattest poor people in the world. And they want to tell you, people over here, they ain't got nothing. America ain't taking care of people. America's taking too good a care of people. Barack Obama. Everybody need internet access. No, they don't. Don't misunderstand me. I love it. I love having access to broadband. But if I was a kid, poor, growing up in the country, and they said, my grandmother said, we can't afford no cell phone, no internet. You better shut up. You better go get them encyclopedias and get to reading. That would have been the end of it. I wouldn't. So what? We have all this access to information at our fingertips. And yeah, what do you use it for? Oh, I need to find the nearest Church's Fried Chicken and the nearest Popeyes. Yeah, sorry. That was my search. That was my searches. So, at least I didn't say I was looking for a watermelon stand. But you get what I'm saying? We have all this access to stuff. We don't use a fraction of it. You can't even use a fraction of it. And I guarantee you there's somebody living on a farm, growing up, milking cows or something, who naturally has more smarts than 98% of the people who go to Harvard. Just the truth. You either have it or you don't. Now, you can be trained to learn some things. There's no question about it. But you don't need access to the internet to be smart. You don't need cable TV to be smart. Many people don't even watch TV. I mean, there's not as many as you think, but there are some people that barely watch TV. But Barack Obama wants to make sure all of this is available. It has to be equal. The playing field must be level. Until you talk about where his kids go to school. Yeah, we didn't want to send them to the normal, schools in D.C., so we sent them to Sidwell, where all the rich elitists of D.C. send their kids. We thought about them going to state school or whatever, but it's a little bit of a hassle. Harvard is more ready for them. They're used to dealing with the kids of dignitaries. And I could go on. Like I said, countries impoverished in this world that I guarantee, and people have talked about it, you want to vacation there. Forget vacationing there. You wouldn't want to go there on business and just stay in your hotel room. I've been to Africa and sat through brownout after brownout, after blackout, and went, geez, you can't even work. Why bother? More people displaced than any time in the history of the world. 65 million people displaced, mostly from countries of color, mostly from the religion of peace. And they want to talk to you about, racism. There's a lot of other isms that you could get to before you get to racism. I got to leave it there for now. We'll be back.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. My wife's jealousy is getting so ridiculous. The other day, she looked at my calendar and wanted to know who May was. It was Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, glad you're here. Kevin Jackson, kjradio.com, 844-551-8255. Talking about jealousy. Democrats are jealous of you for so many reasons. Let me tell you why. Number one, you got your head on straight. You play by the rules. You know that it's an uphill battle, that you're swimming against the current because of the rules that they've set, and yet you succeed. They can't figure out how you succeed. They marvel at you while at the same time they have disdain for you. They're jealous. They're jealous because you figure things out. You are the MacGyver of politics as a conservative. You don't even think about it as politics. You just think of it as, okay, you change the rules on me, bada bing, bada boom. And then you got sick of it. And you said enough is enough. So you said, we're going to put in the shot callers. Enough for you. You have gone crazy. Your jealousy has gotten out of control. You're trying to see how much I can take now. Right? Now you're just trying to pressure me. See, will my pipe burst if you keep putting pressure inside? This is building up and building up. And you know what you did? You conservatives, on November the 8th of 2016, you released the pressure valve. And so we got exactly what we wanted, exactly what we needed. I watched a buddy of mine's film called The Art of the Insult. Joel Gilbert, absolutely hysterical in how Donald Trump took the insult where people like Jeb, you can't insult your way to the presidency, Mr. Trump. And he did it. Because it's not insulting when it's true. When you start pointing out the flaws of the left, they get mad. They get insulted. But it's not insulting if it's true. Those people are crazy. They flatly are. And you do it, like I said, you do it by the book. You raise your children right. First of all, you stay in whole families. We try to stay in whole families. I'm telling you, we're sinners. We're not perfect people in any way, shape, or form. And that's okay. Believe it or not. I'm not telling you to die that way. You got to be working towards redemption, which you do. You don't change your morality just because you want to break the rules a bit. You know you're wrong. Oh, yeah. I'm not getting preachy. I'm just telling you the truth about yourself. You know you're wrong. But you look for that. So you take your wrongs and you say, look, I've been wrong. And you know what you do? You tell your friends, hey, look, I went down that route. Don't do it. You tell your kids, look, don't do that. Let me tell you, I can talk to you about how you give advice to people, whether it's your family, friends, your kids, whatever. I could give you example after example where maybe your kid says something, like, yeah, we could steal that, Mom. And you go, we don't steal in this family. And they're like, ooh. But other kids, on the other side of the aisle, they'll be like, yeah. If they find out their kid stolen something, they don't march that kid back to the store. They're like, boy, give me that. And then they eat it. And there's no lesson in that. Kids just go, what the lesson is? Don't tell Mama you stole. Shoot, she'll eat it. But you don't. You will march your kid back to this. You better get in there and you tell Mr. So-and-so you took that candy bar. And the kid's like, no, Mama. You better get in there, boy. I'm going to give you a whooping. You go in there and he's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. I stole his candy bar. And he's like, you know what, boy? You got a good mama there. It made you bring that back. Now, don't you ever come in here and steal. That's a bad thing. And he gives you a lesson because he's a conservative too. The leftists will go, look, it's okay. Here, go on and take it. Oh, okay. I steal. My mom says to bring it back. Well, he don't really care. You know what I'm talking about. Ridiculous, those people, jealous of you because you got it all together. I'm not saying it works out every time. Do you think your kid, your daughter isn't going to have a bout of promiscuity, or your son isn't going to, I'm going to use my finger quotes, experiment, or whatever they call it these days. Yeah, we have the same issues because you know what? We're human beings, but you are so much more prepared to deal with it because you deal in reality. And you're not jealous. You don't walk around going, I hate that they got this or that or whatever. You set your sights, you get there. And if you get to the place that you like, you know what you do? You get comfortable. You go, you know what? I got the cabin. I got my boat. I got a Sea-Doo. And Mama, she takes care of me on a regular basis. What can I say? You don't go, man, shoot, that dude over there, my neighbor, he moved up. He got a better job. His wife got a promotion. She just sold a patent. I got a friend, his wife has a patent on some kind of it's a thing for vitamins or something. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not technical in that respect. And they're going to be worth millions of dollars. They're in clinical trials. People are loving this thing. I don't know all the details of it, and he came to me. Ooh, this is bad. He came to me 3, maybe 4 years ago and goes, hey, Kev, my wife's about to get a patent on this thing. And man, if you could kick in, like whatever. And I was broke. I mean, I'm still kind of broke, but I'm just saying, he was like, you kick in, Kev, if you come up with $50,000 now, I could have borrowed $50,000 from a friend and put it in this. And then, it would have gone, it would have been the kiss of death for everybody. But had I done it, it's probably going to be worth, I don't know, a couple $1 million. But I didn't have it. But you know what? I love that my buddy and his wife hit the lotto on her expertise. He helped too. Don't think he's just a freeloader. He was marketing and helped her find the venture capital and so on and so forth. And it went great. And they're going to be rich. And I'm as happy as can be. They'll probably invite me onto their yacht if I can just find the airfare to go. No, he'll probably fly me there too. But you get what I'm saying? But I'm happy for him. Not an ounce of jealousy. And you know what? I don't even miss not having $50,000 to make my whatever it was going to be, a couple $1 million. I don't miss that. It's an opportunity gone. But no, who cares? They made it. That's a win to me. And that's how you feel. You've been brought up that way. Yeah. Now, it can't be rubbed in your face too often. Because then you start cutting people loose. Like, every time I come around, all these dudes want to talk about how much money he gets. I don't want to hear that nonsense. But I'm telling you, most of us were happy. Not leftists. They will not be happy with you. I want to talk about how these stooges on the left see politics when we come back. It's a game. And it's a shame that they think of it that way because it's so serious. I don't see politics as a game. I see it as for real. I want them to be successful. They don't want the same for us. How pathetic is that?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. What's up with Fire and Fury? Huh? kjradio.com. 844-551-8255. What happened to Fire and Fury, dude? Michael Wolff. Oh, this dude was on every talk show. He was blowing up the talk shows. You know how you know your book is a big deal? They had his big on easels. They had the cover of Fire and Fury on both sides, so they didn't miss it at any camera angle. He was prominently placed in, I'm talking NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, you name it. I think he even did Fox. And it was multiple people on each network. He would, like on CNN, he would do, the morning people, Poppy, blah, 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 the weekend folks, and he would do Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon, etc. Every show. He did the same thing on MSNBC. I'm not exaggerating how many shows this guy did. I've got clips of him on at least 8 shows. At least. Talking about the book. And the leftist media soaking it up. Katie Tur was unbelievable. She was so amenable. In effect, the paraphrase of the interview was, well, look, I didn't have to verify all of the facts. I would pretty much hear one person say one thing, the other person say another. I sort of drew my own little inference from what I heard, but it's up to you to figure it out. If there's smoke, there's fire. And then Katie goes, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's fire. And that was it. Yea, verily, it is a work of nonfiction, should be believed, and everybody's treating it, well, when I interviewed the president, when I did this with the president, and let me just tell you, that's when you start getting into some shaky ground. I'll tell you this. I've met Donald Trump twice. He probably doesn't even remember it. It was so brief. He was walking through an event, and, it was very, I can see it like it happened yesterday. Comes through. People weren't making a big deal about him because he wasn't even officially declared, if I'm not mistaken. He hadn't even officially declared as a candidate. But he was thinking about it, or maybe he had just declared. But people were not making a big deal about him. He had people on both sides. He was walking right by me, shook his hand. How you doing, Donald? Boom, hey. And he walked on by. Then I was at an event not long after that, because it was, I think even Rick Perry might have been the big deal at the time. And Donald Trump comes in the green room. Hey, Donald, how you doing? Boom, hey. But, you could tell it wasn't like a I know who you are kind of thing, but I've met him twice. If he sees me, he's not going to go like, who is this guy? And I know for a fact that they know who I am because a couple of people interviewed with him and his staffers went, oh, yeah, we love Kevin Jackson. We love his work. So I know they know me. But I would not pretend to be like this dude. He was pretending. Well, I spent 3 hours with the president over a period of like a year. I probably have spent 3 hours with many people that I don't know when I was stuck in the Houston airport and couldn't get out because it was flooded. Or I spent a good 16 hours with them. Now, I didn't talk to many of them. I talked to a couple of them, but I could see them doing an interview going, yeah, I spent a little time with Kevin Jackson one day. In fact, we had 5 hours together. That would make you think we really got to know each other. 5 hours is a lot of time to be talking to some dude in an airport or anywhere. And so he gets snagged. But my curiosity is, where is he? Is this dude in witness protection? What happened? He completely dried up. You don't hear radio interviews, TV interviews. I think I know what happened. I know you guys know my theory on this, but I'll tell the radio audience. I think he was found out to be a liar. I think the left, they are trying so hard to pin something on Trump that everything they're doing has this hint of desperation. It reminds me of salespeople who must make a sale because they overextended in their mortgage or whatever. And I look at these guys and I say to myself, why did you do that? You go into a sale with the smell of desperation. Even a chumpy animal like a rabbit knows to eat you if you go into a desperation sales mode. Where you're giving away things without even a negotiation. Well, look, Chuck, if I could get it for half price, I mean, what would it be something that would be of interest to you? What kind of stupid question? Yeah, sure. So you go get it for half price, and then Chuck comes in, and you go, okay, Chuck, hey, we got it for half price. He goes, well, congratulations. Now I know you can get it for half price. What do you think he's going to ask for now? Think you can get more? I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm not that interested. That's the desperation sale. If Chuck had gone in there and said, look, this is amazing product. I got about 10 more minutes before I got to go see my next client. This product is about to be on allocation. I need to go because I got somebody that's ready to place an order. Can I come back here tomorrow? Are you available tomorrow? That's a whole different sale. And if you're flush, meaning you got the cash to burn and I'll wait you out. I mean, it varies by product, but I'm just saying, there are people that were like that. I remember memory back in the day. It's not like that anymore. It's not even close. But memory was on what they call allocation. So you went into your big computer manufacturers, which was Compaq at the time, HP, Dell, and it was no orders or anything. All you did is you went in and said, okay, here's your allocation, Compaq. You're going to get 1 million pieces of this size DRAM. Dell, you're going to get 500,000, whatever. HP, we're going to give you 700,000. And the only thing that buyer could do was go, can I get a little more allocation? It was like selling crack, and all the crackheads had money. It was just like that. So you could go, okay, crackhead, look, I've got 2 ounces of crack I can sell to you. I can sell total. I'll take them. No, you can't do that because I got to satisfy my other clients. Well, how much will you let me have? That's where we were in allocation. So let me tell you what's happening and to put it into our perspective. The left was selling bogus dope and we were buying it up in abundance. And now we're finally to the point where we have cleaned up our act and we no longer need their dope. And they've got it in droves. They're trying to get rid of it. And there are no takers. That's where we find ourselves. That's a good place to be, conservatives. We're off of it. They come over with the little baggies and go, look here. Whoo. So Fire and Fury, he's a liar. He's gone. This Russia investigation, it's a lie. It's gone. We're off the dope. We're off the media dope. We're off the narrative, the fake news narrative dopes. Dope, whatever you call it. We're no longer hooked on it. We aren't even enticed by it. Not at all. They can't handle that. Discredited Fire and Fury author, pure work of fiction, and the leftists find themselves back at square one. They don't even know how to behave.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
A number of companies are attributing the tax bill for being able to give higher wages to their employees, as well as being able to give a number of bonuses to their employees. How do you respond to that?
Well, the number of bonuses that were given, well, one of the bonuses was already in a union contract, and then they added a little more money to that. That same firm just told their employees that they were going to be laying off 1,500 people, and if they wanted to save their jobs, they could all start working 32 hours in those communities. So in terms of the bonus that corporate America received versus the crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. And I would hope that with their big advantage of bringing money home at a very low rate, that they would invest in infrastructure and things. But our experience has been that they will do dividends, they will do stock buybacks and things like that. I think it's insignificant.
Boy, oh boy, did Nancy Pelosi catch some HE double crooked socks for that. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. Nancy Pelosi said, hey, so what? It's $1,000. It's a pittance. It's insignificant. But, she said something even more profound earlier when she said these companies are only going to do stock buybacks. They're not going to invest and put, more infrastructure into their companies, R&D, things like that. And I don't know if you know this, but there was a lot of stock buybacks during the time of Obama. I haven't researched how many. I can't find it just yet. But there were lots of them. Because what companies do when they don't have any place to put their money, because they're not going to put it into, R&D and advancement and things like this, because they're like, why bother? The profit margins in America, what we get taxed, it doesn't do any good. So if we buy our stock back, I don't know all the details of it. Maybe there's a financial person out there, but that's a bigger advantage to them than putting it into the marketplace. And I read an article about it, or else I wouldn't even know this. But when it was a financial person saying that's what more of that happened in the time of Obama. Now I don't know what the case is. Like, is it in the last decade? Is it in the last 20 years? Or is it in the history of man? But they said many companies did this. Now I'm going to make you a bet and tell you that not only are companies going to give their employees higher wages, money back, they're going to invest in themselves. It's already started to happen, and I named a couple of these. When I get into these battles with leftists, the ignoramuses of the planet, then I have to remind them. I say, well, Dow Chemical said they're building an innovation center somewhere in Michigan. It's going to employ 150 people, and the president and the CEO of that company said we wouldn't have done it if Donald Trump wasn't president. It wasn't going to happen. And there were a couple of other companies that said, we're going to innovate. We're bringing in the innovation center. It was a small thing that happened, but U.S. Steel opened a plant in Madison, Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis, that had been dormant. I was living in St. Louis when they shut that plant down. They fired it back up. I don't know what the plan is, but we're now making steel again in the United States. We're not shipping it from China. So another good thing that's happening. You're seeing Apple Computer, we're bringing our manufacturing back. You don't send the brains of your operation offshore. You send the stuff that you go, okay, we can do this better, cheaper, faster, and get a better tax break. They're bringing it back. because it's next to the innovation. Now, the beauty of it being next to the innovation is a guy can be walking through your manufacturing facility and have a brilliant moment. They call it water cooler conversations. You're doing your job and I was an engineer, electrical engineer, and you go up to the water cooler and there's Haroon or somebody that you work with, and you're like, Haroon, we were talking about that problem in the break room the other day, and I was thinking about this, and then somebody else overhears it and goes, very flippantly, like, well, you might try blankety blank. I'll give you a good example. So I had to mail an envelope, and it had a window on it, like where you could see through for the address, and it was a check to a friend of mine. It was a business acquaintance, but it was a friend who we do business with. And so he told me, Kevin, don't mail the check to my office. I need it mailed to my house because I'm going to be out of town. And I said, okay. I said, no problem. But the envelope I had already had stamps on it. So I said, well, I got to go to the post office to check my P.O. box or whatever. So I go to the post office and I tell the guy, hey, look, can you give me an envelope because I got to mail this thing out? And he goes, well, you're going to lose those stamps. And I said, yeah, but I don't have an envelope. I don't have anything I can do about it. I got to mail it to a different address. And he goes, well, why don't you put a label over it? Now, I know you're listening to me now going, Kevin, that's stupid. Some of you were already ahead of me, okay? And you're going, yeah, I was thinking, why don't you just stick a label on it? Well, first of all, because if I'd had a label on my desk, I would have thought about it. But to me, I was going to the post office. I was like 60 cents or whatever, I don't know what stuff costs, 80 cents. And I was like, to heck with it. I'll stick it in another envelope, and that'll be that. And it was a post office dude who just goes, well, man, why don't you stick a label on it? Okay. So now I become MacGyver. I go over to their I didn't have a label. So I go over to their little sticky, like first class things, and I get one of the little sticky window things, but I got to massage it. I don't have scissors or a knife. I wasn't going to borrow anything because, post office people will shoot you if you ask for the wrong thing. So I just put it onto the table, ripped it real quick, ripped off the first class, put the thing over the side of it, wrote the address in, and that was that. And so now I saved myself 84 cents. On a guy's ingenuity. But that's the conversations you have that save money. Now, in my case, I saved 84 cents and maybe the cost of an envelope. So let's say I saved $2, but it's $2. Imagine those conversations happening in multiple places in your office because of proximity. That's the innovation that happens when you bring everything back. That's why you have meetings. Nobody likes meetings. You shouldn't. If you like meetings, then you're a piker. You just want to get out of work. Nobody likes them. But they're good because they spur ideas. And there is no country on the planet, none, that's better than America on ideas. The next closest, and it's a close second, is Israel. And it's because we've lived free for so long, but the Israelis, they've lived free for centuries. Even in imprisonment, they never let go of who they are. And they have a level of innovation that is second only to the innovation in the United States. That's it. So there's a saying, jealousy is a tribute mediocrity pays to genius. That's why people get jealous. They're effectively telling you, you've done something I can't do. You make me feel bad about who I am because I happen to be mediocre in this thing that I want to accomplish. If you're a mediocre actor, you're jealous when somebody else gets those awards. You don't see them as something of which to you aspire. You see them as competition and something you can never attain. Perfect example for me. I think Lady Gaga may have one of the best voices I've ever heard. You ever hear? Do you trust me on this? Google Lady Gaga singing "Lush Life." You know the jazz standard. I used to visit all the gay places. Let me tell you. Listen to that. Forget you even know who she is. Listen to it for the purity of its voice, for the orchestration, etc. If I was a singer, I would go, why bother? But you know what? Everybody isn't into Lady Gaga. there are some people that like J-Lo. I don't know who, but there are some. And so you're not for everybody. It's okay. J-Lo does not have to be jealous of Whitney Houston. Well, she's dead. Jealous of what's her face? Whitney Houston didn't get mad because Mariah Carey came along. They can coexist. For leftists, they can't. Leftists are jealous. They get jealous. Nancy Pelosi told you exactly what Nancy Pelosi said was very simply this. If the government isn't going to give you this money back, what do I care? I don't care about you. And it was summed up to me in we got a tweet, and I believe it had to do with Oprah. And I think he said it was a guy, and I like this guy's name. His thing is educating liberals, and his @ is @education with the number 4 libs. And he says this: Trump became a famous TV star by making people compete for a job. Oprah became famous as a star by giving away expensive gifts. This perfectly sums up the polar opposite mentalities between Republicans and Democrats. And it shows you, in a strangely metaphorical way, how we differ and why Oprah should never be president, and she won't. There's no worries about it. Nor should any leftist. They don't understand that when you work for something, it means something to you. Or at least it should. The problem with leftism is it doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't. They are programmed to look for the easy way out, and you're it. And if you get in between them and their meal, woe be it unto you.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Donald Trump tweeted this: more great news as a result of historical tax cuts and reform. Fiat Chrysler announces plan to invest more than $1 billion in the Michigan plant, relocating their heavy truck production from Mexico to Michigan, adding 2,500 new jobs and paying $2,000 bonus to U.S. employees. Glad you guys are here. kjradio.com, 844-551-8255. If you want to chime in on how the president is a rock star. And I say that really just to intimidate the left. You know, it's funny. Donald Trump, he made a comment the other, and it was, I don't know, it was from a video that he had done a while back. And he goes, look, you know what you people are getting me for? He goes, you know what you like about me? He essentially goes, common sense. He goes, 99% of the things that I'm doing here are common sense. He left 1% for, this is where I know a little bit more than you. 99% of the moves I'm making are things you, as an ordinary citizen, would make if you didn't have all the corruption of D.C. lobbyists and the media. If you got rid of those guys, we would be running efficiently. The world would be in perfect order. The problem is we've allowed greedy, slimy, scumbag snakes known as leftists to run this country and, quite frankly, to run the world for the better part of decades, if not centuries. And we are where we are at this time for that reason. And I'm just telling you, it's not rocket science to do the things done. When he talked about saving Carrier, I went, psh. The same way he felt about it, I felt about it. He talked about bringing manufacturing back. Psst, you lower the tax base, you get people to come back. It's really simple. So why doesn't it happen? Because you have to ask yourself that question. Why does it not happen? Find the most ridiculous scenario, whatever it may be. Like, I don't understand why they're paying Martha $200,000 as a bookkeeper. And I will tell you, it's because Martha's corrupt. And they need her to be a corrupt bookkeeper, because if the going rate is $35,000 for a bookkeeper and Martha's making $200,000, you can bet somebody's making more. When it doesn't make sense, it's because somebody's getting dollars. That's the problem. And Trump identifies that. And he also identifies what happens when you uncover the shenanigans of the left. And that's what just happened with Fusion GPS. We got verification of what we already know. This supposed inside source to the Trump campaign that the president of Fusion GPS, a guy named Glenn Simpson, said existed is a lie. They offered this up in August of 2017. Full testimony got released about Fusion GPS. That's when he testified, and he made the comment, oh yeah, we've got this inside mole, and he's the one that told us about this Trump stuff and working with the Russians and all this. Then this clown double downs. He goes to the New York Times, goes to get some of Mama's milk, and he tells them, he does an op-ed in the New York Times. We stand behind our story. It is all true. We knew this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And now, guess what old Glenn Simpson's doing? He's running like a scalded dog, like a white woman trapped in Compton. He's going, I'm out of here. He can't fess. We know the truth. Dianne Feinstein, she releases the transcript. People started perusing it and went, whoa, wait a minute here, Glenn Simpson. This doesn't about fit here. See, because under the scrutiny of a much more savvy public, flags get raised. And now Fusion GPS says, well, the idea of an internal source was, and here's the magic word, mischaracterized. Yeah, we never said he was inside. We said we had some, interesting thing. And so it turns out it was some Australian PM over bar talk. Game over. Game over for all of them. Let me tell you, you folks are going to, you think that to heck with the Super Bowl. Remember how you used to celebrate the Super Bowl before the kneelers? Remember that? Remember how you'd celebrate the winning of the pennant if it was won in your hometown, or something beautiful to you? I don't know how you celebrate getting that fat raise. Put it all together. 2018 is going to be that on steroids for you. You are going to celebrate perp walk after perp walk. You're going to celebrate Aberdeen going to prison. You're going to celebrate Hillary Clinton having to get before the camera and go, I was really sorry what I did. I didn't know. I just wasn't sure. And Bill Clinton's going to be standing there smiling, trying to act like he's consoling her as he's smiling, thinking about all them young girls he's now going to get because Hillary's in prison. Michelle Obama's going to be disavowed. Look, I was first lady. I didn't understand what Barack was doing. I had no knowledge of what was happening over here. I know y'all are going, Kevin, this is not going to, I'm telling you, you're going to watch heads roll. You're going to watch FBI guys get demoralized, not just demoted, go to prison. You're going to watch FBI people go to prison. You're going to watch former Obama administration folks go to prison. And I know you're sitting out there skeptical because you haven't seen this type of thing occur. You're like, well, Kevin, we say that every year. We've been going after these Clinton. We've been going after Obama. We've been going after Eric Holder. You're about to get a feast. Donald Trump, I'll never forget, he goes, you guys are going to win. You're going to win big. You're going to win so much. You're going to be like, what's with all this winning? And what's he done? He's made winners out of us. He's vindicated practically everything we've said. We said, if you put a person in office who doesn't have, commitments to these lobbyists, who is not corrupt, and who only looks at the American public, you will see an America that cannot be matched in ingenuity and creativity, you name it. And what do we do? Doggone Skippy. We put a guy there that goes, I don't care what they say. We put a guy there who's unfiltered, who's Non-presidential. The best thing you could want in a president is a non-presidential one. Because what we got is pomp and circumstance. We got empty suits, people coming up there talking like this here, acting as if, look, I'm very authoritative. This is how things are going to go. Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I know I didn't say anything, but, you like it. You seem to like when I talk, so I'm just going to talk here for a little bit and say some things that don't mean anything. And I'm not going to go back and do anything. And that'll be the end of that. Oh, my God, he's amazing. People, I chuckle because it's so easy to impress these clowns. And they've gotten used to that. And here's Donald Trump going, these third world crap holes. Yeah, why are we sending money over there? Why are we sending money over to people that hate us? Why are we funding NATO when they don't even pay their own bills? Why are we funding derelicts? He hates NATO. No, he hates derelicts. Well, we funded. He called those people crap hole. No, he's racist. No, he didn't. He called how they live crap holes. He called where they live and how they allow government to happen crap holes. And by the way, we have them here in America too. Don't feel like it. We're immune. We got. You want me to list them? Cleveland, Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago. Name any big city. You got yourself a crap hole. Now they divide it up. They make the crap, the crap has color in the big cities. Oh yeah, it's got color. But the Democrats will tell you, he's racist. What about Rahm Emanuel? He's got a crap hole on the south side of Chicago, full of black folks. You think Rahm Emanuel's going to solve his crap hole problem? Of course not. He doesn't care. Because them white folks are living large in Chicago. They got the big shiny buildings. They got the lake view. They're doing all right. They got fat cat contracts that pay them no matter what, while black people over there starving to death, living in squalor and killing each other. And Rahm Emanuel's talking about, or any of these people talking about, he said the word crap hole for Haiti. He could have used it for Chicago and probably will. We're going to play a clip of a guy. In fact, let's do that. Do we have time? Unfortunately, we don't. It's like, 3 minutes? Close to 3 minutes. It's a must hear. You got to hear this guy. He's a Breitbart London guy, and he's describing London. And, he commented on President Trump's comments, but he describes London, and you got to hear it. It's amazing. Let's go back to Fusion GPS. 35-page work of fiction that was meant. They wanted to say we've got this inside mole in order to give credibility to the report. They then took this report, took it over to John McCain and his group or whatever. They make this report. They call it a dossier in order to give it a good, nice little fringe, name. It's bread, but they call it a croissant. And then they pawn it off as being legit. FBI takes it because they want to and runs with it and says, "Oh yeah, look at this. We got proof of this collusion, and we are where we are." This investigation is dead as it pertains to Donald Trump. And now watch what happens. You guys don't believe me? You're going to watch heads roll, and I'm going to laugh.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Jealousy. That's what we're talking about today. Jealousy. Terrible emotion, but, necessary. It is a necessary emotion. The thing about emotions, and this is what you'll learn from shrinks and just anybody that's sane, they'll tell you, look, understand these emotions. You should feel them. You really should. I tell people I'm not the jealous type. That doesn't mean I don't get jealous. It means you have to rein in emotions. Anger. I'm not the type to get angry, but I do get angry. But you rein it in. All of these emotions are necessary. But what happens with the left, and I'm going to pick on them because, that's what I do. These are people who take an emotion and they put it on steroids. They're jealous to a fault. They're angry to a fault. They are passionate to a fault. It's okay to be passionate, but can you be passionate about everything? I so love my pencil. It is amazing to me. I write with it. And they go, but here's not, oh my God, that's a great pencil there too. Too much passion and there is no passion. It's the yin and the yang of life. But let me tell you about jealousy. Jealousy lives upon doubts. See, it becomes madness or ceases entirely when we go from doubt to certainty. The more you know about something, the more about you know about who you are, the less jealous you become. If you see somebody doing something and you go, oh, look at him over there doing that, and then you go out there and you get on your bike, get on a treadmill, whatever, and you do it, and suddenly you start looking at that person and go, well, I don't have any reason to be jealous. I'm just as good or whatever. I can be just as accomplished. Or you find something that you're good at, and therefore your jealousy melts away. That's not what the left does. The left doesn't go and train and stop with the petty jealousies and say, I'll just go out there and do my thing. I'll go do me, baby. You do you, I do me. Okay, I got you. They don't do that. They harbor those jealous emotions, those negative emotions, and they can't grow. That's their problem. And here's the deal. Democrats see politics as a game. But in their game, they don't have to live their politics. That's right. They pretend to love fairness, for example. They say, let's level the playing field for all. They pretend to fight for the little guy. And the notion is laughable at best because they use and abuse the little guy. That's what they do. They're jealous of you, the little guy. We are all the little guy. They're jealous of us because we're just out there we believe in the rules. We're just out there doing what we do. And what's sad for the left is when we achieve, in spite of the unleveling of the playing field, in spite of their wicked games they play with us, they get really mad. They get jealous that they cannot influence us the way they used to. These guys. It's funny to watch Democrats when they're forced to live their politics. They're rarely forced to live their politics. They don't really have to care. They set up annuities, so they never have to work. You say, Kevin, you mean are they putting money in the bank? No. Democrats retire. They set up things to make the same amount of money in retirement. Tell me how that works. You work for 40, 50 years. You retire from your job and you get the money that you left work. You get the same amount of money in retirement as you got working because you've set it up that way. Who pays for that? But that's what the left does. And what's funny, keep in mind, they never worked when they were at work because they set up unions and they got 5 guys doing a job that one person can do. And all 5 of those guys are going to retire and get the same amount of money or a big percentage of it. That's how they set it up. They set it up so the future generations are constantly paying for the older generations. Why? Because these suckers are too lazy to go out and work hard, look at the stock market, invest in property, businesses or whatever. They want to rely on other people's money. And you know why they're jealous of you? Because you go out and you plan. You look at, okay, well, I'm going to get a little bit of money when the parents die, and I'll do this, and I'm going to buy my home. I'm going to pay it off. You're a plotter and a planner. You're doing it by the book. Those conniving sons of guns are just out there for themselves. Here's the moral of the story for the kiddos who may be listening. If you want to learn a craft and work hard, don't follow Democrats. They'll put you in a union and they will threaten your life if you try to innovate or work hard. They will threaten you. And I'm not even kidding you when I tell you they will threaten you to beat you up or in some cases they will kill you. Oh, Kevin, you're taking it too far. No, don't make me give you stories. Silkwood. For Democrats to win at the big level, they got to create winners at the little level. The little people are really losers, but Democrats convince them that they're winners. These dirtbags get things like subsidized housing, welfare, they get SNAP cards, and so on. Democrats give socialized medicine that would make the productive mad. If you went to a socialized medicine clinic, you'd be like, what? I got to wait 8 hours to get to, look, I just got to get some stitches. Stitch me up so I can go back to work. You'd be mad. You would be, like hot. There'd be one doctor. Next. And his receptionist would come out. You couldn't even understand the language. Oh, man. These people are something else. Hours waiting in line, usually behind illegals or some Bush League minority. And Democrats groom these Bush League minorities like they groom young prostitutes. And what are the stellar education these people get you? Bernie Sanders says free college for everybody, mostly community college, because as Chris Rock joked, anybody can go in the community can go to that. Imagine valuing something that anybody can have for free, like mints in a restaurant. Everybody's hands going in there. They tell you, by the way, don't eat those mints. A better example, toilet paper at a public restroom. Notice nobody steals it. Yeah, because it's 100 grit toilet paper and it'll wipe the hair off your butt. You don't want it. It's free. I don't know what it could save you, but if you just went around for public toilet papers, why would you buy it? Why do they have it in grocery stores? It's readily available. I think you're starting to get the picture. Politics is sport for Democrats. Either you believe in their ideology, folks, or you're the enemy. Shops close on Saturdays. Democrats put on Team Blue and they root against the other team. So what? Their team is full of self-indulgent criminals. They don't care because they're against you. We'll be back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson Show. kjradio.com. If you want to call us, 844-551-8255. I got to tell you, I love social media in the sense of how it helps us prep for shows and things like that. It's fast. You go out to Google, you need to verify a story. Well, not always, but you can at least, go out there and look for stuff. You may, because it's, scraping conservative things, you have to try to find a real angle to it, but, it's out there. But Twitter is probably the fastest way for us to get the news of anything I've seen. People just post, bam, it's right there, discern it. I'm just telling you, it's really quick. And what's cool about it is it's opinionated stuff. It isn't, I mean, don't make any mistake about it. They'll put a link to, check out, Huffington Post and see this. But somebody would generally give you an opinion like, check this stupid article out. And so you have a perspective before you even go in. Now, if you're easily swayed, that may not be a good thing. I'm not easily swayed. I look at the person, I go, oh, yeah, I know who that is. They're just a big old lefty. Or I go, this person's very introspective. This may be interesting. So you can sort of condition yourself to look for the news that you want to see. So long story short, I love looking at these tweets. And we're going to cover this a little bit later, but Donald Trump tweeted this. The reason I canceled my trip to London is I'm not a big fan of the Obama administration having sold perhaps the best located and finest embassy in London for peanuts, only to build a new one in an off location for $1.2 billion. Bad deal. Wanted me to cut the ribbon. No. So we'll talk about that. There's a Breitbart guy who makes comments around that particular thing, so we'll go there. There's a friend of mine, I used this quote earlier, his tweet earlier in the broadcast. His name is Educating Liberals, and he said this, and it's so prophetic. Trump became famous as a TV star by making people compete for a job. Oprah became famous as a TV star by giving away expensive gifts. This perfectly sums up the polar opposite mentalities between Republicans and Democrats. And it's very true. And it's the whole reason why Oprah Winfrey will never be president. I can tell you that. I'm not having one of these Robert Oliver moments or Barack Obama moments. Oprah Winfrey will never be president of the United States. She should be happy to be president of Harpo Studios or whatever she is, because she's a fraud. And look, I don't even care that Oprah's a fraud. The old fake it till you make it, redid her whole story to make it seem like, all her promiscuity, she blamed on men. They took advantage of me. No. You just gave it up, and now you want to put a new spin on it. And in fact, there's a meme that floats around about Oprah, and here's the one of the things I remember. It says, you lecture people on morality or marriage, yet you have been in a relationship, unmarried relationship with Stedman for decades. So it was contrasting the things that Oprah would say versus what she did, and it was such the guy whoever put it together did a really good job, because it really showcased the hypocrisy of the left as it pertains to Oprah. And I thought, wow, yet again here it was. She's a spokeswoman for Weight Watchers, spokesperson for Weight Watchers, but can't control her weight. Tell you how to run your own marriage, but can't commit to marriage. Lecture about racism, but 90% of her own network TV schedule features all black cast. Tells you how to raise your kids, but she doesn't have any. Knew about Harvey Weinstein, but supports the Me Too movement. And that's just a few of them. Just to put things in perspective. I love when people come up with this stuff, because that's the cleverness of conservatism. When we can point out these silly hypocrisies of the left. And Twitter is where, I'm not going to say most, but where a lot of the stuff comes from. And that's why I enjoy looking at the stuff on Twitter, because it's a quick snapshot of what's inside of somebody's head. That's why people follow my Twitter feed. Here's what Elizabeth Warren tweeted. Dreamers aren't bargaining chips. They aren't pawns in real Donald Trump's, that's his Twitter name, game. We made a promise. We said we'd come out of the shadows and be fully woven into the fabric of America, because that's who you are. In America, we work hard and dream big, and we must keep our promise to dreamers. That's what she tweeted. Do I really need to go there? A woman who stole dreams of American, of Native Americans, because she could get ahead in her life, and then tells us that we made promises to dreamers. We didn't make any promises to dreamers. It's a big batch of emotion. By the way, have you heard this woman talk? She always sounds like her voice is about to cry. It's funny to me. Man. Oh, boy. We made promises woven into the fabric of America. We are as diverse as you could possibly be. We don't need a new set of dreamers in order to have any more diversity. The left can just give up on this idea. Mark Dice said this. An estimated 500,000 to 1 million Rwandans were massacred by being hacked to death with machetes, and you're telling that this country is not a crap hole. Or in Tanzania, where albinos are raped because many Africans believe they cure AIDS. Please. And he's exactly right. He's exactly right. I've been to one of those countries. I haven't been to Rwanda, but I've been to Tanzania. And he's exactly right. It's a huge problem with albinos there. And so there you go. But again, why did he come up with this? When did he come up with it? He brings attention to something that I even know about and didn't even tweet, but he brought it up because it was a flash in, somewhere else through something else. That's the cool thing about Twitter. James Wood says this, and it's so prophetic yet again. Why in God's name are we having to negotiate with our own government to obey the law? We have laws for legal immigration. Anyone who breaks those laws or enables another person to do so should be deported or imprisoned respectively. Why is this concept so dadgum difficult to grasp? And he used a different word, but so he's spot on. And what it is, it's like Donald Trump said earlier, it's common sense. There's nothing mystical and magical to figuring this out. This is common sense, and we don't use it. A guy named Kevin W. says this. If someone sneaks into Disney World and gets caught, security would arrest him and kick him out of the park. If someone sneaks into the country and gets caught, I should arrest him and send him back home. Both are illegal. Both should be treated exactly the same. No questions asked. Again, a person, Kevin W., using common sense, saying, look, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited here, but if Disney kicks you out of their park, is it racist? Is it sexist? Is it xenophobic? Or are they protecting their interest? This is where we are, folks. This is why when you think about the world, you ask yourself, when did it go so crazy? I have an answer for you, but I'm going to let you figure that out for yourselves because it's happened around you as well. It didn't happen in the macro. It happened in these little battles, what I call micro battles. Battle at the water cooler, battle at the grocery store, battle at a family reunion or a dinner or something where you shut up and you said, no, I'm not going to tell people what I think. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to play this clip. Please get the two Breitbart clips ready for me. It was, I forget the guy's name. It's like Hassan something, and he's from Breitbart in London, and he's talking about Donald Trump's comments around the crap hole thing. Well, it's two things. One is Donald Trump's not going to go to London and do this opening of the new, I think was our consulate office or whatever. He's not, I think that's what it is. So he's not going to go, and he says, why would I go? He goes, it's a building that costs way too much to build. It was done during Obama. So he talks about that, but he also talks about the crap hole that is London. And I want to start there because that's obviously fueled a lot of things that were talked about at the end of the last week and over the weekend. And I just think it's worth considering how people feel about this and how they looked at it around the world. And so this guy from Breitbart, which obviously gives you an idea of the leanings of his thought process, gives one of the best synopsis of this that I've heard. And then I want to go into that into the next phase of it because it was just it was a great interview. So indulge me for a second. I'm going to play the first clip. You got that one? Okay, good. And we'll talk about it a little bit, and then maybe we'll end up having to go to another segment, but we'll see.
Raheem Kassam is the editor of Breitbart London. He joins me now from Washington, and many thanks indeed for joining us this evening. What does it say about President Trump when he refers to countries like Haiti, El Salvador, and other countries in Africa as cold countries?
Well, I suppose we'll start with the fact that he's denying having used that that language. This is following a meeting in the Oval Office with some Democrats who had just been informed that they weren't getting an amnesty deal for illegal immigrants. So I'm not entirely sure of how reliable it is.
Well,
the White
he's
House
denying the use of that
but
language, but Democrat Dick Durbin has been a Democrat, has been in Congress for 20 years, said that President Trump did use that language. Are you saying that he's lying?
No. I'm just trying to put it in context for you. Personally, I hope he did use that language, Gamal. I think it shows a frankness, a willingness to have a conversation that isn't sort of varnished with political correctness. He wants to know why America has a big illegal immigration problem. Let's not forget the OECD puts out statistics every year. The United Nations, Transparency International, all the corruption indexes. They put out statistics every year that show that there are a handful of countries out there in the world that are pretty bad. I mean, you know, I don't want to use the word on air,
pretty
but
bad is very different to describing
a
country as being a
look. If you want me to say it, they are holes. You know, Gamal. It is the case. There's no getting around it. And he's not saying that they are because they're bad people there or anything like that. It might be due to corrupt regimes. It might be due to factors out of the control, environmental factors. There might be education problems there. But there are countries that you and I wouldn't want to go on holiday in and sun ourselves in. And I think that's what he's getting at. It shouldn't be shocking to anybody that there are horrible places in the world that are horrible for the people who live there to live. And instead of actually getting het up about the phrase used, maybe we've got to ask ourselves, why is Haiti in such a dire situation?
Is it appropriate that the United States president should use a phrase describing countries such as Haiti, El Salvador, or countries in Africa as holes? You think it's appropriate for a president of a country, a leader of a country, to use that term, to use that phrase?
Yeah, well, let's look at Barack Obama, who gave an interview. Let's look at what Barack Obama said about swearing in the Oval Office. He said it's a great thing for presidents to be able to do to relieve stress. Joe Biden, when the Obamacare legislation was passed, described it on live microphone as a big effing deal. So I think the level of appropriateness has already been set by Trump's predecessors on this one. So my answer is, yeah, it's perfectly fine.
You think it's fine that... I'm not talking about Barack Obama. I'm not talking about any other leaders.
Of course you're not.
We're talking about this president describing a country as a shithole country. You think that's fine?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
All right, welcome back. I told you guys earlier, I said, I have never seen so many journalists who have just gone ape crap. I'm having to clean things up over using the word crap hole. Again, cleaning it up and having it seem there's a video floating around that has all the journalists who've used the word in their broadcast just back to back. It's 3 minutes long. It's crazy. It's 3 minutes long. These guys are loving it. Look, and on the guy's going, look, here's what Barack Obama said. When he described Libya, I think he called it he described the situation as a crap, whatever, like a crap fest or something like that. But he, of course, used the different word. And Don Lemon must have said it 3 or 4 times, Anderson Cooper and others. But I'm telling you, it's at least 10 different journalists in this video saying the word over and over and over and over. And it doesn't even include overseas. I mean, this guy's a British guy, British black guy, interviewing a guy named Raheem Kassam. So we're talking about the world is a very different place where you've got a black guy interviewing a guy, I'm going to presume he's of Arab descent, and the Arab is defending the white dude, Donald Trump, against a black guy who is obviously British and believes the leftist crap that's going on over there. It's just so fun to watch. It really is, because Donald Trump has the world spinning around. But here's the good news for us. When it settles, it's like a centrifuge. When it settles, we will all be collected on the outer part of the thing, because that's what centrifugal force does. Some people say it's centripetal force, but we're going to all be collected on the outside, because that force, that vortex in there, is going to push us all out. But and you would say, well, Kevin, that's dividing us. No. Once a centrifugal force does that, it separates the product, the good product, from the bad product. And that what's going to be left is a good product. We're going to be united And what's interesting is it's going to unite other people. People are going to get guts to start changing things. The wake-up call is going across all of Europe. It's going across Canada. It's going into Mexico. It's going into China. It's going into Russia that, you know what? You have to change the way you think. And I'm telling you, I'm feasting over this stuff. The hearing that interview, and by the way, sharp guy. He reminds me of when I first heard Milo do an interview. The guy was spot on. I felt like I was listening to myself. He's dismissed. He says, "Oh, well, I'm not talking about Barack Obama." He says, "Yeah, of course you're not." The guy being interviewed goes, "Yeah, of course you're not." We're saying you are so biased. Why would you ever mention anything bad about Barack Obama? There's another clip. We'll get to it. Maybe we should do it now. You want to do that now? Yeah, let's play the second clip.
I'd just like to get your thoughts on the fact that President Trump has said that he's not going to be coming to the United Kingdom to open the U.S. Embassy.
Yes, well, I don't blame him. You know, you have a situation whereby Sadiq Khan, as the mayor of London, has really been tub-thumping, trying to get President Trump not to attend, said multiple times he's not welcome in the capital, really fomenting a situation where you might have some riots or street protests if the president came to open that embassy. By the way, I think the president's wrong when he says that the embassy in South London is a bad deal. I think firstly, it wasn't Obama who approved that embassy. It was George W. Bush who approved that embassy. Secondly, it didn't cost the American taxpayer anything because they actually sold off a bunch of buildings to pay for it. So I think he is wrong on that. I think he should have come out and told the honest truth, which is that he doesn't particularly want to visit Sadiq Khan's London, which is the acid attack capital of the world per capita, where you have in the last year soaring knife crime, soaring burglary, soaring rape, soaring youth homicide. And Sadiq Khan seems to be concerning himself more with matters of state, which he isn't elected to do, than actually solving the situation of crime in London. And it is soaring. And I have to say this, and you'll excuse me for being churlish about it, but places like Sky News and the BBC and all the best and brightest journalists in the country are not covering this.
What do you mean?
Well,
every single day we are covering stories about whether it's knife crimes or attacks, where they happen up and down the country. What proof do you have?
So Gamal, well, the proof is, can you answer me? What's the at what rate did knife crime go up by in London last year?
I'm asking you. I'm interviewing you. What proof
I know.
do you have?
Well, I don't. It's not great with the shoes on the other foot. Do you know how much youth homicide went up by in London last year? Have you told your viewers that 70%? Have you looked at the mayoral's police and crime report from December the 12th? You look at that. Almost every single measure out of 42, only 4 of them in 4 categories did crime go down. In every single other area, double-digit rises in crime across London. So you know what? To borrow a phrase from Donald Trump, London's turning into a shithole under Sadiq Khan.
I love that. Wow. Again, an interview like one I would have given, full of statistics, explaining how you're being genuine when you tell people, won't even tell you the nationality of attackers. Won't tell you where not to go. We'll try to lure people into thinking there's a false sense of security. Oh, we report knife attacks. We certainly do. When it's on the Lou and on the L and blah, blah, blah. They don't report jack. There was a person who was attacked the other day by the subway station, and that's it. More to come. This guy nails it. And you got to love that. You got to love when a guy's informed and he puts the press on notice. Look, here's the good news. It isn't just our press, good news, bad news. It isn't just our press who's disingenuous. It's all over the world.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. We're talking about jealousy. That's right. Jealousy. That's not the greed. Which one is the envy? Is it green with envy? Yeah, I was thinking of green. Anyway, jealousy. We've all experienced it in one form or another. It is a natural human emotion. Don't feel bad about it necessarily. The problem is when it consumes you. And jealousy consumes leftists. But there's a way around it, and it's kind of how I built this brand, the Black Sphere brand, of which, we stopped using it because everybody said, Kevin, you got to start using your name. People know your name. So we did. But the Black Sphere brand was built around the idea of how, what I'm about to mention now, which is how you thwart the left, and that's with laughter, with humor. To jealousy, nothing is more frightful than laughter. To somebody who's trying to, make a point, to call you a racist or whatever, if you just laugh about it, if you just chuckle, nothing sets people off more than you just going, what? And walking away. And so what we're witnessing now is, and Trump probably doesn't do that as much, but he's pretty much dismissive. It's like, psst, whatever. And it's almost a snicker, like, psst, I don't care. Think about how you react to that. And so, and here's the thing, it's not, when it's done where you're saying, look, that's so foolish, I'm just going to laugh that off. I'm going to pretend that you're joking with me right now. There's hardly anything that's more diminutive that makes you feel smaller than somebody going, come on, surely you were joking. Surely you don't believe that notion and can really back it up. That's where we sit. So I'm going to give you an example of some silliness that just went on. So apparently Hawaii was under a missile threat. Somebody watched too many of these crazy, what's that movie, Steven Seagal, where they were going to bomb Hawaii. Tommy Lee Jones was going to send the missiles and blow up Hawaii. Let me tell you something. If you're a terrorist and you're going to blow something up, choose Cleveland, choose Detroit. Don't go after Hawaii. Nobody's going to bomb Hawaii. Even terrorists go, look, leave Hawaii alone. We want to be there when it's all over, okay? They don't want to bomb Hawaii. But Hawaiians were scared to, oh my God, Kim Jong-un or somebody. So there was a missile alert. The system went awry. The early warning system that says there's a missile out there. I mean, you have more chance of a tsunami hitting Hawaii than a missile. But they were scared. And what was funny, the media is talking about parents were hunkered down in their bathtubs with the kid, covering the kids. And I'm thinking, why? I mean, let me tell you something. If a nuclear bomb is going to hit Hawaii, drop and what do they call it? Stop, drop, and cover or whatever. It ain't going to help. But apparently these leftists were, I mean, the way that I was looking at media reports, I hate to keep laughing, but it's too funny. I was looking at media reports, and it was ridiculous how they were covering this story. It was like sad tragedy. The people of Hawaii were very afraid. Oh, my gosh. They were thinking, what's going on? And this, that, and the other. And they kept rolling out, sad person after sad person. It's kind of like if you've ever been on a plane and it had, turbulence. And I've seen this happen. You get on the ground and people are mad at the pilot. What's up? I can't believe that you. And the pilot's going, look, I don't control the jet stream. If we hit turbulence, we hit turbulence. And other people are like, hey, thank you for landing the plane. You could see the difference between political ideologies. Somebody's mad at a guy who has no control over over the plane and what happens in the plane. It could be a mechanical issue or it could just be weather related. And then, and so they want to be mad at this guy who did his job and landed that plane on its wheels, okay? And then there are people that go, God bless you, dude. You had the skill, the training to get us down because I was about to crap my pants and create a crap hole up in here. But so that you can separate people very quickly by what their thought process is. Are you a cup half empty or a cup half full? So anyway, the back to Hawaii. So Hawaii gets this missile threat. I didn't follow the story because, quite honestly, it was of very little interest to me except where they decided they wanted to put the blame. That's what got me. Everybody is talking, President Trump was too busy golfing to care about Hawaii was under missile threat. Hawaii wasn't under missile threat. And if it needed to escalate, I can guarantee you if Hawaii was under missile threat. Oh, by the way, before I get to that, well, let me go ahead and finish the statement because people hate when I don't do that. So if Hawaii was under missile threat, Donald Trump would be the first guy ready to go. But doesn't it speak to Donald Trump's temperament that he didn't fly off the handle and go pushing that big button on his desk? Do you think that the media went, the president was we were very shocked that he didn't just start pushing buttons, that he didn't start pushing buttons and blowing up countries. He didn't nuke North Korea. He didn't nuke Iran. And who did it? I don't even care who did it. I don't care. Just start pushing buttons. Where's the football? Where's the nuclear ball? Get the nuclear football in here, Mr. President. It's a false alarm. Oh, I'm having too much fun now. But so they start blaming Donald Trump. They start saying he's off his job. He's not doing it. He's too busy tweeting. He's too busy golfing. He's too busy. I don't know. Hey, you know what they never say Donald Trump is too busy doing? Cuddling with Melania. I'm just saying. If you said to me Barack Obama's golfing, Barack Obama's partying with Jay-Z and B, Barack Obama is with Reggie Love, I'd get it. But if you said Barack Obama was too busy because he was cuddling with Michelle, fake news. Liar. Oh my goodness. This story is just rife with leftism. It really is. And it's so pathetic that it's laughable. I go back to jealousy. Don't be jealous of Donald Trump because we're just going to laugh at you. We're going to laugh at you, man. Look, Donald Trump's got nothing to do with the emergency management system of Hawaii, which, by the way, one of the funniest tweets I saw was, if you think Hawaii's emergency management system is bad, you should see their birth certificate system. I'm telling you, people were like, what are you talking about, Donald Trump? Hawaii, by the way, one of the judges who stopped Donald Trump's travel ban was a Hawaiian judge. Are you aware, just out of curiosity, are you aware of the number of Democrats that are in control of Hawaii? It's shocking to me. I don't know how you lose control. We, as conservatives, and I'm going to go ahead and put the Republican on it, but how do we lose control when you look at everything going on? I mean, I really and truly think about it. How can you have a city that is run like an armpit, and I'm just going to use Detroit as an example, and you keep putting Democrats in there? How does that happen? That's a feckless Republican Party that can't go into a city and say, look, you are a crap hole. And in order not to be, you got to go back to Republican principles. Look at what these fools are doing. Let me give you a litany of what's going on wrong here. You're losing businesses, which means you're losing your tax base. And thus, you're going to have more crime. And you're going to have more idle teens. You're going to have more problems that are associated with things that make cities go downhill. For example, drug abuse, things like that. If you don't stop electing these clowns, because that's what I would say. If I wanted to be the mayor of a city, I'd just go to that city and say, look, you've elected these clowns for decades. You have no hope. Businesses are not moving in, they're moving out. Residents are not moving in, they're moving out. Tax base is not increasing, it's decreasing. You are going the wrong direction. You can keep going, but these clowns are going to get you, you're going to be in big trouble. And that's what I'd say. I wouldn't want to run a city because, that'd be the end of them. It would be the shining city on the hill in the decade, but I just don't have the time. I don't want to do it. But look at Hawaii. They have a Democrat governor. They have a Democrat Senate, 25-0. The Hawaii representatives are 46 Democrats to 5 Republicans. You can't spot a Republican in Hawaii. There's not one for miles. Maybe in Alaska, Sarah. But they want to blame Donald Trump for their emergency management system. I would say blame your Democrats. It's amazing to me. How can Hawaii be so Democrat? I mean, I don't know. I'm not following the politics, but I'm floored by this. Hardly a Republican in sight. We got to start changing this stuff, people. We got to go to the source, to the belly of the beast.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.